Hello, today's walk is the first of 3 walks in the Fannaich mountain range and includes 4 Munros: Coileachan, Meall Gorm, Sgùrr Mòr and Beinn via Mhòr Fannaich. The Fannichs are close to Anscellach and Beinn, and you can even see Beinn and Liath in the distance when you're walking along the main ridgeline. The views are amazing. It's a longer walk at 25 kilometres with 1,411 metres of ascent. It is expected to take around 9 hours to walk. It's mostly a circuit walk, which I did in a clockwise direction. The route is tricky to navigate. I estimate that about half of the route is not on a recognisable path, and even when you're following a clear worn path, it just disappears. There is no scrambling or exposure along the route unless you go right to the edge of Sgùrr Mòr. Parking is free, there are no height restrictions, and you can fit around 10 vehicles. The car park was busy when I arrived at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning. It's 4 hours drive from both Glasgow and Edinburgh. From the car park, head southeast back along the A835, cross the bridge and turn right down a rough gravel track that leads you into the woodland area here. Follow the track as you climb uphill through the woodland. At this point the track splits. It's not shown on the detailed OS map. The road goes straight ahead and down to the right. So from here go down to the right and you'll start to descend down towards the river. There is a bridge to cross the river, and at this point you have to decide if you're going to walk in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Navigation might be easier in the anti-clockwise direction. In cloud, some of this walk will be difficult due to the lack of geographical features or paths to follow. This section here just after the bridge is quite soft and marshy, and my preference was to get it out of the way at the start of the walk, so I went in the clockwise direction. There is a clear path that follows along quite close to the river up to another bridge, and you cross the bridge and then start heading more in a south direction. At the same time you will start to ascend up the hillside towards Loch Gorm, and up to now Coileachan is completely out of view. It's only after you come round the hillside here and when you can see Loch Gorm that you can see Coileachan. The path also improves at this point, at least for a little bit. You ascend up the right hand side of some rocky mountainside just here. To start with, there is a good path to follow. Once again it quickly fades away to nothing. Just keep climbing upward, heading almost directly south. The map shows some crags here, but there was no real difficulty as you ascend up here. Eventually you'll see a small rocky outcrop where the summit of Cairn is located. From the summit, head slightly north of east and descend down towards a track. That track heads north and then it curves round to the Beinn. Continue northwest from the Beinn and follow the ridge to Meall Gorm. This section is easier to navigate, and from Meall Gorm continue northwest. There is a path that descends down the right hand side of the ridge here, and it's easy to follow for the next 2 kilometres, at which point it once again disappears. From here, head north-northwest, and as long as you're going uphill, you should be going in the right direction. You'll soon arrive at the summit of Sgùrr Mòr, the highest point in the Fannichs. This is a reasonably small summit with an almost vertical drop on the east side. From the summit, head south and descend down the east ridge, keeping slightly to the right hand side to avoid the sharp drop that's on the north. There is a clear descent path and it continues east towards Beinn via Mhòr Fannaich. Continue to follow the stalker's path to the left side of the summit as you're approaching, and as you're rising up that path will start to descend, and just at that point turn to your right and just head up. It's a pathless section to the summit. The next section of the walk I found was the hardest to navigate. There are no paths, only a few cairns and not a lot of landmarks. From the summit you head west along the long flat plateau, and when it starts to drop off you're going to bend to the right and descend down heading southeast. On a clear day you can see a visible path on Craig du Fannaich over here. This leads you to another cairn. I used the end of the loch across in the distance beyond the woods as a navigation aid and headed towards that, and eventually I picked up on a faint path further down. This leads you to the end of a slightly rocky ridge and you make a sharp turn to the right. And then from here there's a faint path crossing the peat and heather hillside, and it eventually joins up with the gravel track that you used to cross the river earlier in the morning. Once you get back to that bridge you then retrace your steps through the woodland back to the car park. Good morning, it's just before 8 AM. I'm at the car park for the Eastern Fannichs mountain range. From the car park you head back along the main road towards Inverness, cross the bridge there and then turn off at the first track. It goes up into this very light woodland and just follow the track through the woods to start with. when you come to this gravel track, turn off to the right. Car park's just back there. I think that's Beinn Mhòr Fannaich in the middle at the back. It's quite a gentle start to this walk, a good clear path to follow at this point. That won't last long. We go through a very boggy section up to the first summit. From here the path descends down to the stream down there. You can see the bridge there. The path splits here, so the map shows going down to the right. It's very subtle, the map doesn't show both tracks. This bridge is a good marker point for the walk. From here on it's a circuit. You can either go straight ahead and up to the right there and go round in an anti-clockwise direction, or take this smaller path here, follow this stream up a bit to a footbridge, cross the bridge and then head up to the first top on the left side. This next section up here to the left top is meant to be quite pathless and boggy further up, so I want to get that out the way at the start of the walk and not have that to look forward to on the descent. So we're going to go up the left here. I can see the bridge ahead now, so aiming to cross over at that point. That last section was a bit wet and boggy. Easy enough to follow the path, it's clear. This is your last easy accessible water supply, so I filled up the water bottle, had a good drink. The path now bends off to the left a bit and we'll follow that up in this general direction. I think the summit, the first summit of the day, I think it's out of view round the corner to the left. This section is tricky to navigate. The path just disappears completely from time to time, and then you're left wandering around trying to pick up on the path. At this point you're heading southwest, and we should soon have an easy point to navigate from, Loch Gorm. It should be up ahead and on our right as we're ascending. Quite something to see. The noise is so far behind them because they're going at the speed of sound, or faster than the speed of sound. Yeah, a little bit of excitement. The path hasn't been too bad recently, and there you can see the summit of Coileachan, and I think we pretty much go straight ahead, curve very slightly to the left, and just make our way up there. I can see the path at points going up there. It's taken a little over 2 hours to get to this point. I think we're almost at the end of the boggy section. The path dips down a little bit ahead and continues straight up the opposite side. I can see the path to start with. It goes up so far, probably just beyond those crags, and then it bends and starts going up to the left, pretty much straight to the summit up there. Even ascending up here, the path is a bit vague. You can see signs of wear ahead. As long as you're going up that way, it's not too steep. At the summit of Coileachan. That last section coming up there was pathless. At least you're just heading for the high ground. From here, going to go straight ahead down to the Beinn, and then along that ridge to the next top, and then you can see Sgùrr Mòr, the pyramid shaped pointy one up there. Up to there. Then you come back down the same route you went up to the sort of scree section I can see there, and then you head along to the final Munro over there. Straight ahead is Liath. There you go. And then to the left of that is Beinn. So from here you head straight ahead, which is northwest, and it's sort of straight ahead, curves a little bit round to the left and then back to the right up to the summit. It does get a bit cooler if you stop moving. No real sign of paths around here, but checking the map, you do want to come off a little bit more down to the left here, and then the path will bend round. I can see it down there in the Beinn. I just want to go down this way for a little bit and then cut across to the right. I've found the path. I did not come down that properly. It wasn't difficult, but it wasn't on the path. You'll come to the first top on this ridge. The actual Munro is the next summit across there. Sgùrr Mòr is starting to look a bit bigger. Quite a significant windbreak being built up here. The summit's just over there, but there's a nice seat here out of the wind, so I think I'll stop and have my lunch. Just checking the route. I've only covered 10 kilometres. It feels like more. And I'm currently 4 hours into the walk. You can see Beinn over there. I have a video for that, I'll put a link up the top. An even longer walk than today. That one's 27 kilometres. At the summit of Meall Gorm. The wind has picked up a little bit. It's a little bit cold. I'm not going to hang around long here. I'm going to keep going along the ridge. You can see the path clearly going up over there, up to Sgùrr Mòr. Again, paths seem to be difficult to find around here, very vague and faint, but essentially you go down the nose of this descent ahead, so pretty much straight ahead. So there is a path going up here. I was coming down more in the centre. It would be on the right hand side as I was coming down. You can see it joins up with the Stalker's path over there. My first sighting of Ancellach. Looks like it descends a little bit before we make it up to the final ascent to Sgùrr Mòr. It looks like there's some faint signs of paths going up there, but not much. You go up, obviously on the left side, up to the summit, retrace your steps a little bit and then go down that right hand ridge. I'm at the summit of Sgùrr Mòr. You can see Ancellach, bit of haziness. It is quite a small summit, this one. Summit cairn's just there, drops off just over there. So that's 5 hours and 15 minutes into the walk. Yeah, it's very exposed at this side. So you go down that ridge there, on the right hand side of it. You can see there's two walkers down there. You can see a clear path that goes all the way along. And it goes along underneath the next summit. You walk along under the summit, and then once you get past, the path then goes back up to it. So you're approaching that summit on the left hand side, not going directly up it. And then from there, just down that long ridge. Car parks directly ahead, but out of sight. Much easier to come down this side than it was to ascend up the other side. Back on this drover stalker path. It's nice and clear for a little bit. Yeah, it's getting a bit grey. The path has also got quite faint at the moment. Should pick up again. It was very clear from a distance further round, so just going straight ahead. I can see signs just there. I've checked the map and my position, and it says the turn off is back there a little bit. I didn't see anything clear, and the path is still going uphill, so I'm going to go along a little bit further, and if I have to then just cut straight up to the top. There's a reasonably sized cairn built here. There's no path leading off from it. There's no signs of any path above it. There was no sign of any path coming up there. So sometimes it's a bit trickier. At least you're going uphill, so you know, just keep climbing. I'm at the summit of Beinn Fannaich. I don't know why people make two cairns at the top. It is a little bit confusing. According to the OS map, this one is the summit. And once again, I couldn't find a path coming up there. From here, you want to go directly east along the flat section ahead, and when that starts to drop off ahead of you, you bend south-east. There's a big cairn here. When you see that, you want to start heading off to your right. And that was not in the forecast this morning. It was in yesterday's forecast, this cloud, but this morning it had all cleared up and it was going to be clear until 7 o'clock. I can feel some rain. Again, path is very faint, but you can see this ridge ahead. You want to go down there and then it'll bend round along that ridge, and I can see the path going across it. A little cairn, no path in sight. Might just keep going down this way. It's going to bend round to the left ahead at some point. If you go too sharp to the left, there's some crags on the left hand side. So just sort of straight ahead just now. Make my way down. I'm going to turn now to the left and just aim for the path you can see across there, and then follow that along that ridge. Coming down that section, I couldn't find a path. There may be a better way. It's not particularly difficult to walk down it through the rocks. Most of them are fairly grippy, at least when they're not wet. And just keep going. You can see the path ahead. That's where I ascended up this morning. It looks very different from this angle. Continue along this flat top. When it starts to descend ahead, keep to the right hand side. You can see a cairn over there. Nice big cairn here. From this point, you want to head straight for that water over there. That'll take us in the right direction. A little bit further down, the path does bend more to the right. I'll point that out when we get there. From here, it's just under 7 kilometres back to the car park. Estimated to take about 1 hour and 40 minutes. And it is just gone 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the same old story. Path is just almost impossible to keep a track of. But I'm going to go down and round a little bit more to the left, then down that ridge, that bit there. What I can see is the bridge right at the start and the road that goes through the forestry section. So it's just straight ahead essentially is where you've got to go. I'm hoping that forestry road continues on a bit towards here. It did from the bridge, but I don't know how much further it went. Make it a bit easier to walk out. The last section there was a bit easier, a clear path to follow. Now it's going to bend round to the right and go down that ridge. That last section, the ground is firm. It's just a little bit tricky to follow the wear. It's not a clear and obvious path. It's now joining up to what looks like some sort of off-road track. So I'm going to follow this down slightly to the left. Should be easy enough to follow this down to that bridge. You can see the bridge I crossed earlier and ascended up that slope over there. The descent down here, once I got onto the path just at the end of that rocky section, it's a good path. Some of it slightly softer, but none of it really bad. I mean, that's the worst section there. It was nothing, it's quite firm. So I'm back on the gravel track here, and in the distance you can see the woods, and that section there is the last ascent. I think it's about 70 or 80 meters. Got to climb up through the woods and then walk back out. That last section did have some peat bog sections. Not terrible, but some bits you got to work your way around. Total time since leaving the car park is now 8 hours. And a straightforward walk back to the car park with that one ascent to do up there. Eight hours and 40 minutes so far into the walk. Almost back to the car park. I'm going to say my farewells at this point. Just, it's quite a busy road down there. Thank you for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed the content, and I look forward to showing you more in the next one. Bye for now.